In America, how many of us enter retirement with the same worry? A meager pension, piling bills, and healthcare so expensive that every doctor visit feels like a sigh. Retirement is supposed to be the most beautiful time of life, yet for many Americans, it becomes a survival battle between rent, medicine, and food each month. However, what few people know is that out there are places in the world doing the exact opposite, not only welcoming you with warm sunshine, blue seas, mountains, or vibrant culture, but also paying you to come live, to enjoy your retirement. That's right, you didn't mishear. There are countries willing to provide financial support, exempt taxes, give you a home, even cut half the cost of everything, just because you've entered retirement. This is the secret most Americans have never heard. You can retire in paradise, get paid to live, and spend far less than back home. In today's video, we'll explore 5 countries that actually pay you to retire there. Destinations where just setting foot will make you realize old age isn't an ending, but a brilliant new beginning. Dream it. Pack it. Go. 5. Italy. The final stage of dreams. People often call Italy the final stage of dreams, a place where retirement does not close in dullness, but opens a new chapter full of light, scents, and melodies. In this country, you don't just admire art on church walls or inside museums, but step into a living play, where every meal, every glass of wine, and every conversation in the square becomes the most beautiful scene of your life. And in a small town in Puglia, there is an almost unbelievable invitation. They will pay you up to 30,000 USD just to move in and revive the old houses there. That town is called Retirecheap. Among winding cobblestone streets and walls stained by time, hundreds of abandoned houses are waiting for someone's touch to shine again. The local government decided to split the money in half. One part for you to buy the house, the other to renovate it. For them, it's a fair exchange. You bring new life to the old town, and they give you a welcome bonus and an authentic community. Just imagine, in America you would have to save for decades to even think about a small suburban apartment. But in Italy, you receive a large support grant and a charming European home for your retirement. Of course, to live long-term, you need an official ticket, the elective residency visa. The requirement is to prove passive income of about 32,000 USD year for one person, or 41,000 USD year for a couple. That income can come from pensions, dividends, or rental income, as long as it is steady. No one requires you to speak Italian immediately, nor to start a company or invest a fortune. Italy only wants you to bring stability and be ready to enjoy what they call dolce far niente, the sweetness of doing nothing but living. As for costs, Italy is much cheaper than the US if you stay away from big cities. In Rome or Milan, a small apartment can cost over 1,600 USD month, but in Retirecheap or rural towns, housing is only around 701,000 USD month. The total comfortable living cost is about 1,602,000 USD month for one person, including housing, food, utilities, internet, and transportation. Just compare. In New York, 2,000 USD only covers half the rent, while in Italy, the same amount gives you a spacious home, fresh food from the market, and even enough left over to sip wine on your balcony every evening. What many Americans worry about most is healthcare. But in Italy, you are protected by a strong public healthcare system. With a residence permit, you can join the SSN, the National Health Network, and receive care that is almost free. If you want things to be quicker, The private healthcare system is also available at prices still far lower than in the US. Retirement in Italy means you no longer tremble every time you look at a hospital bill. Instead, you can walk into a clinic with the ease of stepping into your favorite cafe. Safety in Italy also brings peace of mind. Violent crime is rare, especially in small towns like retirecheap, where life is so peaceful you can see children playing soccer in the square without fear. Of course, in cities crowded with tourists, pickpocketing still exists, but it's nothing more than a few scratches on an oil painting that still shines brilliantly. And once you blend into the community, you'll realize Italians live by neighborhood bonds. They'll gladly bring you a basket of freshly picked tomatoes, invite you to dinner, and treat you as a new member of the extended family. Nature and culture in Italy are the secret spices that many people simply can't leave behind. On an autumn morning, you wake up to sunlight stretching across the vineyards of Tuscany. In the afternoon, you drive an hour and see the Mediterranean embracing the sandy shores. In the evening, you sit with neighbors, eat pasta cooked from a family recipe, and raise a glass of red wine in laughter. In Italy, every day of retirement feels like an endless feast, where old age is no longer an ending, but a new beginning. Sweet, profound, and full of flavor. There is a little story I once heard from an American couple who retired in retirecheap. They said that on the first day they moved in, they only hoped to find a quiet home. But a few days later, neighbors knocked on the door, brought over a bottle of wine, and invited them to the village feast. In the middle of mandolin music and laughter, they realized, they hadn't just bought a house, they had found a new homeland. That story stayed with me. Because sometimes retirement happiness doesn't lie in the money in your bank account, but in the moment you are welcomed with a genuine smile. That's it. Italy is the stage where you can be both the audience and the main actor of the play called retirement. A country that pays you to come live there, but where the greatest reward is not in the number 30,000 USD, but in experiencing a life rich in flavor, rich in emotion, and rich in connection. If you had the chance, would you dare take this ticket to step into a new chapter of life in Italy? Leave a comment. I want to know if you're ready to turn retirement into such an adventure. Hit like if you find this place fascinating, and don't forget to subscribe to keep exploring with me those retirement paradises that few would ever expect. 4. Spain. The village that pays for the siesta dream. If Italy is the stage of romantic dreams, then Spain is the village that pays for the siesta dream. In the mountains of Asturias, where green valleys are surrounded by rolling ranges, lies a small town called Ponga. Here life is so slow that you can lie down at noon, close your eyes to birdsong, and when you open them, you suddenly remember. You don't have to pay to live here. You actually get paid. The government of Ponga is offering a special incentive to save the village from its dwindling population. Each couple who moves in receives about 3,200 USD, and if you have a child here, you get another 3,200 USD for each baby. For them, this is not just an expense, but a way of investing in life, an invitation for you to become part of the village's revival journey. Rarely anywhere else does every child's cry carry the meaning of a melody saving the community. To settle in Spain, you need the non-lucrative visa, a visa for those who want to live without working. The condition is quite clear. Proof of passive income of about 31,500 USD year for one person, plus around 7,800 USD for each dependent. This can be a pension, rental income, or investment dividends. For American retirees with stable income, this requirement is entirely within reach. The cost of living in Spain is a small joy. One person can live comfortably on just $802,000 USD month, including housing, food, utilities, and transportation. A one-bedroom apartment right in Madrid or Barcelona costs around $850 USD month, much cheaper than New York. And in small towns like Ponga, housing costs are even lower. In the US, 5 USD sometimes only buys a large coffee, while in Ponga, that same money can give you a full lunch with wine included. The costs alone are enough to make you smile, because a pension that feels tight in the US now turns into a ticket to a leisurely life. Another big plus is healthcare. Spain is famous for its public healthcare system, SNS, funded by Social Security. Once you become a legal resident, you are almost fully covered for healthcare, either free or at very low cost. In retirement, this is nothing less than a protective shield, giving you peace of mind that hospital bills will never become a burden. If you want faster service, the private healthcare system is available at reasonable prices. And what about safety? Spain is one of the safest countries in Europe. The violent crime rate is extremely low. In Ponga, a town of only a few hundred people, you can leave your door slightly open without worry. Children still play in the square. The elderly stroll peacefully in the evenings, and everyone believes that the tranquility here is worth more than any financial incentive. Remember the story of the Smiths, an American couple who decided to accept the support money and retire in Ponga. On the first day they moved in, they only hoped for a small home to live quietly. But soon after, neighbors knocked on their door, brought a freshly baked empanada, and pulled them out to the village festival. Amid the sound of guitars and the rhythmic clapping of flamenco, they laughed and said to each other, "We weren't just paid to live here. We were given a new family." Of course, no paradise is perfect. Ponga and Spain also have their downsides. The passive income required to apply for a visa is not something everyone can easily meet. You are not allowed to work with a non-lucrative visa. Spanish can be a barrier if you are not used to it. And in big cities like Madrid or Barcelona, pickpocketing in tourist areas still exists. But look at it another way. These drawbacks are nothing more than a few clouds drifting by, unable to cover the clear Mediterranean sky. Spain, with Ponga, gives you more than a subsidy. It gives you a poetic retirement, where every meal is a small festival, every siesta is a gift, and every morning you wake up, you find another reason to smile. If a charming little village paid you to come live, would you say yes? Share your thoughts in the comments. Hit like if you think Ponga is worth dreaming of, and subscribe to the channel to keep discovering with me more unexpected retirement paradises around the world. 3. Switzerland. The village in the clouds that pays you. If Spain offers the sweet dream of a siesta, Switzerland feels like a village in the clouds that pays you. Here, you don't wake up to car horns, but to the sound of church bells echoing from the valley. And when you open your window, before you lies the Alps, white and vast like an oil painting. Yet, in this seemingly luxurious landscape, there is a place that welcomes you with a generous cash offer just to come live. That place is Albanin. Albanin does not hide its ambition to revive. They are willing to pay about 27,000 USD for every adult under 45, and nearly 11,000 USD for each child. A family of 4 could pocket over 55,000 USD simply by agreeing to move in, buy or build a home worth over 220,000 USD, and commit to staying at least 10 years. For the authorities, that is a fair price to trade for children's laughter in the square, conversations echoing in a small cafe, and a village no longer asleep in silence. The cost of living in Switzerland, however, is the complete opposite of Spain or Italy. If in Ponga you chuckle because 5 USD buys you a hearty lunch, in Switzerland, the same money might only get you a cappuccino. On average, one person needs 2,800, 4,000 or 200 USD per month to maintain a comfortable life. Housing, food, transportation, healthcare insurance, all belong to the most expensive in the world. But in return, you live in a place where the air is so pure that one breath feels wealthy. The tap water is so clean you never need bottled, and the trains run so precisely to the minute that you feel as if you're living inside a giant Swiss watch. And speaking of healthcare, there is no free system here like in Spain, but you are required to purchase private insurance. However, once enrolled, you are cared for by one of the best healthcare systems in the world, where hospitals feel like hotels, doctors speak multiple languages, and medical technology is so advanced that you almost forget you are retired. The price is high, but in return, the peace of mind is absolute. The greatest difference in Switzerland is absolute safety and stability. If Spain is peaceful in the style of rural villages, then Switzerland is an entire country operating like a precise machine. Violent crime rates are extremely low, society is stable, poverty is rare, and in Albanen, crime is almost an unfamiliar concept. You could leave your keys right at the door without a single worry. Imagine a winter morning in Albanen. The Millers, an American couple who moved thanks to the support program, open the window of their newly purchased home and see the golden sun rising above snow-covered peaks. "We are being paid to have this view," she exclaimed. And he just smiled, pouring 2 more cups of hot chocolate. For them, the support was not just money, but a ticket to a peaceful life amid majestic nature. Of course, Switzerland is not for everyone. The extremely high cost of living requires a strong financial foundation. Residency visas come with strict requirements, especially for non-EU citizens. You must prove significant income, are not allowed to work, and must purchase mandatory health insurance at a steep price. Language is also a challenge, as this small country has up to 4 official languages. And most importantly, the Albanen program is only open to Swiss citizens, holders of long-term residence permits, C, or certain nationalities such as the US, Canada, and EU. So not everyone can access it. Switzerland, with Albanen, is truly the village in the clouds that pays you. But unlike other places, this is not just a bonus for moving there. It is also a reminder. Paradise is real, but it is not cheap. Are you ready to make that trade-off? If you were paid over 50,000 USD to live for a decade in the Alps, would you say yes? Share your thoughts in the comments. Hit like if you think Albanen is worth dreaming of. And don't forget to subscribe so we can continue exploring places where retirement becomes the most beautiful adventure. 2. Greece. The island that pays you to breathe. If Switzerland's Albanen feels like a luxury watch, expensive and precise to the minute, then Greece is the island that pays you to breathe. Here, time does not rush forward, but drifts slowly like waves crashing against the cliffs. And on the map of places ready to pay you to come live, the name Antikythera, a tiny island in the middle of the Aegean Sea, stands out like a secret whispered from one person to another. The government on the island is calling for new residents with an offer that could not be sweeter. 500 USD per month for the first 3 years, nearly 18,000 USD in total, plus a free house and even a piece of land for you to cultivate. The condition? Simply move there, live, and let your heartbeat merge with the rhythm of an island slowly aging in silence. What makes Greece different from Switzerland or Spain is the astonishingly light cost of living that makes it hard to believe this is Western Europe. On average, one person only needs 1,600 USD per month to live comfortably. Renting a one-bedroom apartment in central Athens may cost 650 USD, but in remote places like Antikythera, costs are much lower. Fresh food is abundant, vegetables grow year-round, and fish from the sea cost just a few small bills for a full table. In the US, a dinner out can swallow $100, while in Greece, that same money can host a seafood feast with friends right on the beach. The story of the Papadopoulos family, one of the first families to accept the support and move to Antikythera, has become a legend. The day they arrived, only a few dozen locals gathered at the port, bringing bread, feta cheese, and wine. "We weren't just given a house, we were given a village," they said. That image spread as a reminder that there are still places in the world that live by warmth rather than calculation. Would you dare trade the noise of the city for a remote island where you get paid to start over? Share your thoughts in the comments. Hit like if you think Antikythera is worth dreaming of, and don't forget to subscribe so we can continue exploring strange yet enchanting retirement destinations around the world. 1. Ecuador. The valley that pays a salary for old age. If Italy charms with ancient houses, Spain with siestas, Switzerland with snowy mountains, and Greece with remote islands, then Ecuador is different. This is the valley that pays a salary for old age, where your retirement is not only respected, but rewarded by law. In Ecuador, the government provides a gift card for those over 65, 50% discounts on public transportation tickets, utilities, phone bills, and even movie tickets. Seniors here get priority in lines, have dedicated clinics, and are always addressed with respect. Just think, in the US, you squeeze into crowded buses, but in Ecuador, you simply show your ID card, and the driver smiles while charging you half price. It's like having a second pension without lifting a finger. Even better, Ecuador does not tax foreign income. Your US pension, savings, or investments flow straight into your account, untouched. That's why many Americans have realized they can live comfortably here on just 1,200 USD per month. Renting a one-bedroom apartment in the city costs only about 500 USD, and eating at local markets is incredibly cheap. Just a few dollars for a meal full of fresh vegetables and sweet tropical fruits. If you've ever sighed at supermarket bills in the US swallowing $100, Ecuador will surprise you. 20 USD brings home a huge bag of groceries. Healthcare is also one reason Ecuador has become a dream destination. The public healthcare system is good enough for basic needs, but what expats really enjoy is private care. High-quality service at a fraction of US prices. Many doctors are trained in Europe or the US and speak fluent English. A full checkup at a private clinic may cost just 40 USD, something you might pay 10 times more for in America. In highland regions like Vilcabamba, known as the Valley of Longevity, it's not uncommon to see elderly men and women over 90 still strolling to the market, walking firmly without even needing a cane. It is the mild climate, clean food, and slow lifestyle that have turned this place into a legend of long life. Of course, Ecuador is not a perfect paradise. Some rural areas still lack conveniences. Spanish remains a barrier if you want deep integration, and petty crime can annoy you in big cities. But when weighing the low costs, generous benefits for seniors, and a peaceful lifestyle, most expats smile and say, "This is where I want to spend the rest of my retirement." If a country is ready to cut your bills, waive your taxes, and welcome you with respect, would you consider moving to Ecuador? Leave a comment, hit like if you find this place interesting, and don't forget to subscribe so we can continue exploring those retirement paradises few people know about. So we've just gone through 5 countries where retirement is no longer tied to heavy bills, but becomes a new journey full of privileges. From the Italian village that pays you to buy a house, to the Spanish town that rewards you for having children, to Switzerland, Greece, and Ecuador, each offering you a different way to live freely and be valued. Retirement is not the end, but a chance to begin again in a place where your presence is seen as a gift. If you could choose, which country's retirement invitation would you accept? Leave your comment below. Hit like if you found this video helpful, and don't forget to subscribe so you won't miss the next journeys.